Hey Brickmaniacs, it is Lando here, and today I'm with Dan Siskind, and he has his all-new Black Hawk helicopter. All right, well, that was an awesome animation. Dan, why don't you talk about this helicopter?
Well, this is a Black Hawk, as you mentioned before. This particular model is the MH-60L. So this is the version of the Black Hawk. This is a Special Forces version used by the 160th SOAR. We have it here in 1993 configuration. So it's set up to be the Battle of Mogadishu, otherwise known as Black Hawk Down, famous from the Black Hawk Down book and movie. Did some historical research this time around. We've done Black Hawks before. We came up with some of the actual call signs units from the operation.
Yeah.
This one's actually, which one do we have?
Razor's Edge.
Razor's Edge. This is a Super 6.8. So we did, let me just show you this real quick. I have the stickers here. We did put 3 different helicopters, stickers for 3 different helicopters. Super 6.8, Super 6.1, and Super 6.4. Stickers for all of them in this particular kit, just so if you did want to do a Black Hawk Down diorama, which we have done in the past, you'd be able to pick one of the 3 helicopters. I picked the ones from the movie. There were actually like several others that were present part of the
and that Super 6.8, that's referring to the individual helicopters.
Right. And it would be each helicopter had a different call sign.
Sure.
They're all super something. So Super 6.8, Super 6.1, Super 6.2, whatever.
Right.
Super 6.4. For the purpose of the helicopter kit, the kit, we just put 4 minifigures in it. We have basically two chiefs or gunners and 2 pilots.
That's right. You want me to go over those guys, or you want to?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Sure.
While we're talking about it.
Again, I scoured over different source imagery to try and capture a nice recreation of that historical time period.
Yeah, we got lucky in the fact that there's lots of documentation.
Yeah, it's cool. There's some interesting gear. So this is the 160th SOAR, and they had some unique equipment, I think, for that time period. And it was only really used for a brief period, and that's that plate carrier that you see right there. And it was one of the first armored vests to incorporate a quick release system. So that made essentially it's a pull cord, which is represented by that yellow tab there. That you'd pull that, and it would pull a cable which would release all the armor off of the body, which would, in the event that somebody's injured or they're caught up in something, they can quickly release that, and a medic or somebody could have quick access.
Need to get you out of a vehicle or some tight spot. So
that was, I think, fairly revolutionary for its time period, and I wasn't able to find a whole lot of pictures of it elsewhere other than the 160th SOAR. There might have been a few other units using that, but I'd be interested to see more pictures of that, because it's always cool to see these different specific pieces of equipment in the field. And then you have some, let's see, there's 2 different torsos and leg configurations in this kit. And so one is more of a pilot minifigure, and the other would be like a door gunner, kind of crew chief type of thing. And that's represented by the carabiner clips on the front that can hook on to the helicopter so they don't fly out during intense maneuvering.
Right. The last thing you want to do is fall out of your own helicopter.
And then they're also, these guys have some knee pads in case, they're moving around a lot more in the back of the helicopter. And then they all are decked out with some sidearms as well. Other than that, it's just a flight suit. And then, of course, each one, there are 4 faces in this kit. Again, inspired by historical photographs. You have the really iconic giant sunglasses from back then, which is
the early '90s.
It's the sunglass and just awesome mustache, really cool. And then some different the standard issue glasses, and just there's an assortment of different things that I thought captured that era
and are historically accurate too. So this is probably the most historically accurate version. I mean, the Black Hawk, we did just a straight up Black Hawk. We've done this. It was years ago.
Yeah.
So this one, we should point out that we actually are doing this under license from Sikorsky.
Right on.
We have permission to do it. have given us the go-ahead, so we are presenting. This is our, I think our first Sikorsky license kit that's coming out. So,
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
So-
It's hard to keep track of all the different things in motion. So,
Yeah.
more awesome stuff to come always.
So yeah, so
So this is the start of some new stuff.
yeah, this is the first of many Sikorsky helicopters that will be coming out. So, but speaking of the helicopter, I might as well just go over some of the features. So, as mentioned before, we've done various other previous versions of the Black Hawk and Black Hawk family. So this will be very similar. In fact, if you have the Jayhawk or the Pavehawk, you will notice a lot of the same features incorporated. One thing I did do is actually put this brick-built windscreen on here, and I've been wanting to do this all along, and I couldn't do it because of that one goofy one-screen windshield that we were using. I guess it wasn't goofy; it was saved a lot of trouble by windscreen. But it also meant that we couldn't restock any of our older, the Black Hawk and Pavehawk.
Right.
So I built the new brick-built windshield, and that'll actually allows me to put the pilot doors in here. So you actually have doors for the pilots, which is the way that the helicopter would be in real life. You can pull the door off, and sometimes you'd see them flying without the doors too, so the pilots could get better view out the door. It doesn't have a sliding door. That was the one thing that people have been saying, can you put a sliding door in? I tried multiple different sliding door techniques. Nothing was elegant enough for me to replace the current door.
And sturdy enough. I mean, you probably could get something in there, but would it compromise the build?
It would look terrible, or it would be structurally.
So you opted for more of a posable configuration here.
Right. So you can. It's the same as the other ones. You can close the door. You just reconfigure the door. You just snap the stud, and you can have it halfway open, whatever. And it's the same on both sides. You do get the two miniguns. It has some avionics on it. This is the 90s version. They weren't super advanced in avionics yet, but we do have the Doppler radar, and they do have the FLIR, the forward-looking infrared camera. And of course, you have two Brick Arms miniguns.
Right.
Oops, knocking the door off.
Going back to, speaking of knocking the door off, going back to how sturdy this thing is, you can pick this thing up by the tail.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's kind of a defining feature of to my knowledge, Brickmania, you released one of the first Black Hawk helicopters where you're able to actually hold this thing up by the tail.
Yeah, and all of our helicopters that way. You can do it with the Hueys and the, I wouldn't recommend swinging it around by the tail, but you can certainly, it's certainly swooshable.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to, with other models we've seen, you have to be careful, but I like that you guys always strive to make these things as strong as you possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we want to do. We're always trying to improve. There's certain things you have to compromise, of course. It's Lego. The medium has certain problems.
Yeah.
Just clutch power, things like that. So you have to work around, and it's constantly changing. So one thing, this does have posable horizontal stabilizer. You have the winch on this side, so you can lower your troops down or raise up a basket. I should add that this MH-160L was also used as a search and rescue helicopter. It wasn't just used for special forces. But the characteristics, the avionics that work for the special forces make it ideal for search and rescue. So this is pretty much a predecessor to the Pavehawk, like what the Air Force search and rescue helicopter that we had. Some other features of this would be the folding, of course. This has been characteristic of our kits for quite a while here.
Sure.
We can fold up the rotor blades, so it can be set up for storage.
So that would be on like an aircraft carrier or other transportation?
Yeah, if they're bringing it into the field, I mean, they could actually fold these up and stick it inside of a large military transport.
Oh, there we go.
C5 Galaxies, I think, can hold two of these things. So, but yeah, it folds up. The Black Hawk does have the ability. The tail does fold up. I mean, I think it even does it on here, so you can fold up. I did some research on it that they on the earlier Black Hawks, the M60H or the M60L, MH60L,
right,
and the UH60A, pretty much the same airframe. They did have this folding feature on the tail, but they only ever folded the tail up for maintenance. And I didn't even think it was rare. I was reading on one forum where they were saying that one guy worked on these for a whole tour of 4 years in the Army or whatever, and he said he never saw the tail.
Maybe just not worth the effort into doing it?
Yeah, it was only if they had to fix the bearings or something in the rotor. So it does fold up on this version just because that's I designed it just to be as realistic as possible, but you're not going to see it folded up for stowage or anything like that. It's just not like the carrier-based versions or something like that.
Sure. So this primarily would have been flown in a Galaxy, you're saying, or?
Yeah, or on a ship or something, brought in on a ship. you know, you bring it to in theater, whatever it takes. You could fly it in. It does not have a refueling probe, so that's also something that was on later versions,
Right.
not on this
Right.
version. No refueling probes. They upgraded all these to different, you know, over the years. This is in 1993. This is how it would be.
Right. Right on. I mean, this is a hugely popular kit back when I think you had the earlier version when I first started working here that was in stock, and I remember that was incredibly popular.
Yeah, it was pretty pioneering. We, you know, for us to do a big kit this large back then was actually like a big deal.
Yeah, that was I think that was the biggest kit at the time.
I think we made like 25, and that was our batch because it was just kind of a ginormous, and we weren't even sure if there was going to be that much interest. Of course, it did sell out every time we made it. So, which actually, speaking of, this is coming out this week. So by the time you see this video, this thing will be available. Unfortunately, due to its popularity, the first 100 kits have already actually sold out.
So this was on pre-sale, and that first batch has already sold out. But starting day one release, we are announcing batch 2. So
batch 2, right? We're gonna. There's 50 more in the pipeline, and you will be able to order it now. Don't wait, because my guess is that 50 will sell out before. It takes about a month, so sometime in early, the kit will be released in early, batch 2 will be released in early December.
So again, another pre-sale is starting for batch 2.
Right, and if it sells out, then we'll probably end up doing it again for batch 3.
Yeah, we're gonna try and keep this one in stock, but again, don't wait, because there's always just production time and parts availability is always changing.
And then we're gonna move on to the next Sikorsky helicopter soon. So yeah, there's there's a whole lot more coming down the pipeline. This is the only Black Hawk, traditional Black Hawk we have in the works right now.
Sure.
Or even in the foreseeable future.
Right.
So get it while you can. It's a popular kit. We can only make so many of them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, this is the all-new Black Hawk designed by Dan Siskind. For more information, please check out brickmania.com. Thank you very much for watching.